was a big religious festival was held in honor of Zeus. We're going to explain what happened in this festival. But another surname for the god Zeus that was Xenios, and that means that was the god who protects hospitality. And that's the reason because I said up there that Olympia is a very friendly place. You're going to see that there are everywhere trees and there are stones where you can take sit. Actually, in these stones, it's allowed to take sit, but please don't step them. The reason for that is it is a limestone, a shell limestone. You cannot imagine how easily they can break. Okay? And that's the reason because it's allowed to take sit, but don't step them. And inside from the museum, I'm going to repeat it again, it's allowed to take pictures, but without flash. And it's allowed just to take pictures by the statues. It's not allowed to stand next to them and take pictures, people and statues together. Okay, these are the rules of the site and the museum. Okay? Now, we went hectares, but we're going to see the main parts, and actually we're going to make 4 stops. And the 4 stops will be under a tree and in the places where you can take sit. The area Olympia was excavated. You see the difference in the levels? We stood there and we walked down to the level of the classical time. You have to imagine that the whole area was covered by 5-meter earth. But where was the earth coming? It was from the flood of the 2 rivers. Olympia is located between Kladeos and Alphios. This location is very, very important because it's the reason why the sanctuary was established in this place. The place between the 2 rivers. The history of Zeus and excavation started here 1875, German and Greek Archaeological Institute. Nowadays no more excavations, actually small excavations like you can see here, but more they are working in the way how to rebuild all this, not all this, but many parts of this to rebuild it in and restorations. Olympia was a sanctuary. Zeus was worshipped after 1100 BC. That means the history with the worship of Zeus started. 3 organized in honor of Zeus were held athletic events. So today, if we're talking about Olympia, the first we can think is sport. But why people compete? How sport started? First, we follow the local tradition, and it's said King Oinomos wants to get married his daughter. He wants to select for her the best of the men. Everybody came here for married her, had to participate in a chariot race against the father. But Father Oinomos was honored from a very strong chariot and he always won. There was coming Pelops. He was son of Tantalos and protected by Poseidon, the god of the sea. He asked him for a strong chariot, get it, participate the chariot race, won the father, married the daughter, and Pelops became the next king of the area. The name of this region of Greece is Peloponnesos, and that means the island of Pelops. The name goes back to this man. But what happened in this tradition? 2 men compete. The next stronger became the next leader. That was the way to select the leaders. We are talking about primitive societies, about 4,000 years before our time, 5,000 years before our time. And then came another time, people started to fight with another. The most famous battle we know by the ancient Greek history, it was the battle for Troy. What happened in Troy? Patroclus died, and his friend Achilles, he liked to show how strong and brave he was. Instead, to do that by many words, he organized athletic events. At the time of the Battle of Troy, sport became the way to honor deaths and gods. And at the same time, the sanctuary started to be a sanctuary of Zeus, and athletic events were held in honor of Zeus. Now, everything in Olympia started about 1000 BC, but we know official, the first Olympics, they took place here 776 BC. 300 years later, we have some changes in the meaning of the festival. What do you mean? We have also nowadays Olympic Games. What is the meaning of this big institution? What it's tried to do? Join people. Join people, yeah, different nations are coming together. Actually, the meaning of Olympia is peace, friendship, equality between the people. How was reached the idea of peace? 8th century BC, Greece was divided into city-states. There was the city of Athens, of Sparta, of Argos. Most of the cities, they struggled. Why? Because of the plains, they were located between 2 cities. For example, in the south area of Peloponnesus, we have Kalamata. If you like the Greek olives, the best Greek olives are coming by a big grove that is located around Kalamata. In the ancient time, used to live by one side the Messenians and the other side the Spartans. 300 years they fight how to share this place. At that time was around here King Iphitos, and he asked the oracle how he can join these people. All the people, they fight together. And the oracle answered. He had to introduce the big festival in honor of Zeus. The festival should be repeated every 4 years. 1.5 months before, 1.5 months after the festival, all hostilities stopped. So that all the Greek people came here to participate. The Greeks are fighting for the plains, but they had two things in common. That was what? Religion and language. At the time of the festival, everybody received to participate it. In Olympia, everybody was equal, and so it was hoped in this festival of peace they could have the opportunity to talk with another, find solutions for the problems they had, and reach peace. So the meaning of Olympia became peace, friendship, equality between all the people, between all the Greek people. And for that time, if we are talking about all the Greek people, that means there were over 2,000 colonies around the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. About 50,000 people came here to participate in it, and the meaning was how to join all these people. The festival was held, and also the idea of peace and friendship, as long as people believed the gods and the centuries had influenced the meaning. And everything was held till 3-9 in the religion. It was the time when Christianity started. Okay, we have the change from Zeus to Christianity. And in the Christian time, everything stopped and started a new time, the Christian time. Now, at that time, not only the religion changed, it also changed the belief of the people in many ways. And we are interested in the way body and mind. You remember what was the connection between body and mind for the Greek people? It was said, a healthy mind and a healthy body. Body and mind for the Greek people were identical, and so they tried to develop body and mind together. For the Christians, body became transported for the soul. There was no need to develop the body, just the soul. So body and mind are divided, and in the Christian time, no sport events were held. This division is very well to see in the art. Did you see the Greek statues? Are they naked or clothed? Naked. It's not shame, because body is a reflection for the soul. Behind the beautiful body is a beautiful soul. So for the Greek people, body and mind are identical. Did you see the icons in the churches? The body was always covered by big cloths. Okay? The body, for the Christians, it became actually transported for the soul. There was no need to develop it. In the Christian time, no sport events were held till the 19th century. In the 19th century, the idea of sports started again, where the humanists and the humanistic schools, they studied the ancient Greek books and also the text, and into them were found the athletic events and the rules, how the Greeks, this athletics, used to help. The humanists in the schools, they started in a primitive way to hold athletic events with the same rules they found into the books. We say today the idea to introduce this institution again came by Pierre de Coubertin. He was working in the education system in France in the 19th century. He had heard about these schools where athletic events were held, and he visited such a humanistic school in England to see how these ancient Greek athletics were held. And there he had the idea to introduce this institution again. He went back to Paris, found Vikelas, a Greek intellectual. Both were founders of the first Olympic Committee, and they have decided the first Olympics in the new time, when and where they took place? Greece, Athens, 1896. After 1896, every 4 years we have Olympic Games. But what is different? Nowadays we're talking about a game. Game is not religion. Everything took place in Olympia in the ancient time that was part from the religion. I'm going to give the connection, how man, religion, and sport are connected. And after 1896, every 4 years we have Olympic Games. But 1916, 1940, 44, the First and the Second World War, the Olympic Games didn't take place. What do we miss? We miss peace. The ideal of this institution that was peace and friendship. That means we have introduced something that is inspired by ancient ceremonies, but actually we miss the main part, we miss peace. Of course, ancient Olympia and the new Olympics, they are always connected by the event of the Olympic fire, and we're going to see the place where Olympic fire always starts. Okay? The last fire, you remember, it was last year for London. I'm going to explain how they used to do that. Now,
Fit another one in there.
Do you want to sit? No, I don't mind for my box.
Yeah, old boy.
Helping the Adrian, that's good.
No, you two are much on you. Listen, there's plenty of
You've been seized. Sorry, okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, so mine.
you don't like to sit somewhere? No?
You like that?
No? Okay. Now, exactly where we came up the wooden steps, along there was a big wall along the whole west side and south side, and then buildings. And everything is surrounded by this wall and the buildings. It is dedicated to the gods. That is the sacred area of Olympia. Inside from the sacred area we have the temples and the altars. The largest of the buildings is the Temple of Zeus, that is located here in the center. It is a very large building. Except the Temple of Zeus, there was also the Temple of the goddess Hera. You know who was she? Wife of Zeus. Yeah, the goddess Hera. And we're going also to talk about the small temple of Rhea. Inside the sacred area we have the temples and the altars. Where was the altar of Zeus? Was it inside the temple? Actually not. It was outside the temple. And the altar of Zeus, it was hill ashes. It was located, you see the tumulus exactly in the center here, the small hill, behind there by the trees, next to the trees, a 7-meter high hill, ashes hunter. What people used to do in the temples and what they used to do in the altars. In the temples was exhibited the statue of the god. So people entered the temples to see the statues of the gods. But the whole cult was held in the altar, and it was hill ashes. How it became, what they used to do. Listen, people believe to the gods. People are farmers, and they should give the god the best thing they had. What was it? Animals. Oxes, exactly. The ox. Yeah, oxes. They get 100 oxes together, and they were sacrificed. What they used to do by all this meat? One part of the meat was burned for the god, but the other part was cooked and was divided into all the people. What they like to eat. Athenians and Spartans, they fight. They are coming here together, they have sacrificed together, and then they sat all together to eat and drink wine and get friends. The meaning of Olympia was how to join people. That was the ritual, how to do that. Okay? Wine and meat. Now, inside from the Temple of Zeus was exhibited one of the 7 wonders of the ancient time. That was 12-meter high gold ivory statue of Zeus made by Phidias. Phidias was a very famous artist. He finished all the sketches for the Parthenon temple on the Acropolis from Athens. Then he came here and he was ordered to make the statue of the god Zeus. The workshop was outside. Behind the trees there is a building, the down part made by stones and the part up made by bricks. The down part that made by stones, that was the workshop. And inside this workshop was finished the statue of Zeus. You see, he was sitting on the throne, hold on the right hand Nike, Nike, the goddess of victory, and the scepter on the left. Yes, exactly this one. Exactly. Now, the naked parts were made by ivory. Clothes, decoration, everything was made by God. It was 12 meters high, it was finished in a workshop outside, and then it was moved into the temple of Zeus. How was it transported? It was not made by one piece. Gold and ivory, we have just imagined that was small pieces, that were small pieces connected, okay? Like a Lego or like a puzzle. So it was moved from the temple to the temple, and for the Greek people, was it a promise to the god? Everybody should come here to see the statue of Zeus. Why people came to see the statues? Let's explain the words we use so that we understand what was the meaning of that things. We use for that things the Latin word statue, that means something that's standing. But for the Greek people, was it an agalma? It is coming by the word agalome, and that means by the view, I feel quiet and happy. When we people feel quiet and happy, what we should have? Harmony. Statues were so beautiful, so harmonic created, and actually they spanned this harmony to all the people. And that's the reason because everybody should come here to see the statue of Zeus. Inside from the museum, when we see the statues, I'm going to give the details how they used to create the statues in harmony. What happened by this statue? 394 AD, the sanctuary closed. We have the change to Christianity. Statue was moved from Olympia to Constantinople, Istanbul, but it was the capital of the country at that time. It was exhibited in a public building, not for cult, for decoration. And this building was destroyed by fire. Along the wall and entered the sacred precinct by the south gate. First they went in the south area of the temple of Zeus and they swore to participate in the athletic events without cheating. Then they have sacrifice. And then people sat together, eat, drink, and get friends. The second, the third, and the fourth day were the days for the athletic events. And the fifth day, the crowning of winners. What they get?
Laurel.
Laurel. No. Laurel was the sacred plant for the god Apollo. For Zeus was olive, like this one. Okay? And actually, the wreaths the winners get, they were made by the holy olive tree, and that was located on the back of the temple. And that's the reason, because this is the west side of the temple, many olive trees were planted there by the archaeologists, just to remind the holy olive tree. Remember, he called on the right hand. All of us. Second one, the religions nowadays became so fanatic. All of them for the same reason. The Christians believe to know the right way, but the Muslims believe to know the right way. The Jews believe to know the right way. The Hindus believe to know the right way. Okay? But which is the right way?
There is no right way.
There is not. We go back in the 5th century BC. The main philosopher of that time, that was Socrates. He never said to the people, follow me, I show you which way you have to follow. What he used to say to the people? He used to say to them, let's search the way. And what was the main wisdom of Socrates? At the end of his life, he said, I know nothing. 70 years of life, 70 years of philosophy, he believed he knew nothing. Why not? He realized, as many we people are, as many the way. Everybody of us has to join body, mind, and soul, but everybody of us has to search their own way. How to do that? Why?
Because she was a woman.
This is the position of man, okay? Now, not because ladies are first. Really, the first temple was built in Olympia. That was the temple of the goddess Hera, and it was built 200 years before the temple of Zeus. But not because ladies are first. Why? The archaeologists, they prove it forward. They have excavated this level. This level is from the time of Zeus. After they finish the excavations in this level, they have excavated deeper. You see the hole? In a lower layer where found buildings are dated 2000, 2500 BC. first people settled in this place, yes, first people settled in this place in the 3rd millennium BC. That means 1,500 years before the worship of Zeus was introduced. But who was worshipped at that time, 2,500 BC? Mother Earth, Gaia, the big goddess of fertility. Okay? Also the history in Olympia started with the worship of a woman. Then was introduced the mankind, how they make the change. Very clever, they married them. They married the big goddess of fertility and the new incoming man god. They made couples, put them at the same level and worship them together. And we have more such couples in Olympia. The first couple is named Kronos and Rhea. Kronos is the hill and Rhea the temple. Kronos and Rhea are parents from Zeus and Hera. But listen to the names. Gaia, Mother Earth. She was also named the Rhea, the old one. The Rhea, Rhea. Rhea, Hera. The same letters in another order. And the last name is Ymiter, Demeter. It was everything the big goddess of fertility. The first festival was held in Olympia that was a woman festival. But it always took a local festival. And the men festival became pan-Hellenic. How men became so powerful in the societies, what they did. Fight. Fight. How we have to imagine the change. You remember, by the drive to Olympia, you cross a very big plain, the plain of Elis. It's a fertile place till today. Let's say, for example, that 1,000 people settled in this place, they are farmers, and they found a place. You remember I mentioned before the location is very important. They found a place between the two rivers. It was ideal to worship Mother Earth. They are living by Mother Earth. As long as they are living in the plain, just 1,000 people, everything is quiet and enough. But plain is very fertile, and more and more and more people came to settle there. And what they did, they started to fight. And after the fight started the power of man. That was the change from woman to man societies. And the next time, after these farmer settlements were established, the Greek city-states. What do you mean? Who get the right in the cities to be the citizen? Who get this right? Everybody defend the city. And that's the reason because power was concentrated to men and women were pushed out from the societies. But 600 BC, we know in this place the position of woman was very, very high. And that's the reason because the first temple was the temple of the goddess Hera. And it's the altar of Hera. The stones lying here surrounded by the land. And then the house, and then we have what was called the and it's Olympia. The Olympics, they are always connected to the young ladies. The young ladies, they use that. Very, very simple. What they used to do if there is no sun? Actually, we are living in a country that is always sun. For example, 2008, they changed the time. Official, the fire ceremony is planned for noon, 12 o'clock. So if they can see that at that time there is no sun, they replace it 1 hour before, 1 hour later, and the sun is coming. But to be absolutely sure, the ladies, they practice it 1 week before. So every time if they practice, they tell the fire and keep it in an oil lamp. So that means by the next practice or by the official ceremony, if there is no sun, they can just use the sun, the fire was taken the day before. We people, we need to have everything under control. We don't believe the gods. But Zeus, he always sends his light. Now, let's go to see the stadium and then we'll finish and then we'll walk slowly. No shade, the stadium. But imagine in the ancient time, the festival took place in summer in this stadium without any tree.
40 degrees.
35 maybe.
Yeah. They want to play football in 50 degrees
Yeah.
in Qatar.
In Qatar. They used to do that.
No, but they want to
It's
do
not air
that.
conditioned. It's not a closed stadium with an air condition. No.
Terrible, terrible.
I will be fast here because we don't have any shade. You see the arch, that was a tunnel, and that was the entrance for the judges and the athletes. All other people used to enter it by all sides. It was not a closed stadium, it was an open stadium. Stadiums in the ancient time are different, like our stadiums. Why? They consist by the track in the center, and this track was measured by feet. 600 feet was the length of the track. All tracks are measured by 600 feet, but the length depends on which feet were used. Okay? According to the tradition here, there were used the feet of Hercules. He was son of Zeus and he introduced the worship of his father. I'm going to talk about these sons and the contribution of these sons to the human beings, to the people. Now, Hercules, 600 feet, 192 meters is the length of the track. It is surrounded by the embankments. There were never seats. People used to sit on the ground. And judges, they used to sit by the stone benches to the right side. Capacity 45,000 spectators, only men. Why? Was it from the beginning only for men? Not because men are naked. It's not a shame at that time. But sport with the time was connected with the ability of fight. And that's the reason the stadium became a men's club, like the societies became men's societies. The same happened in the stadium, okay? But there was left one place back to remind the big goddess of fertility. Left hand in the center, that was the seat of Hamini. Hamini, translated, it means the woman is sleeping on the ground. Is that true? We don't know. She was priestess of Mother Earth. And that means in this men's club, in this men's society, was left one place back to remind the big goddess of fertility. All athletic events took place into this stadium. They used to run between the two lines, up and down, not in circle. Discus throw, javelin, boxing, wrestling, long jumping, everything into the stadium. Parallel to the stadium in the south area, the hippodrome for chariot races and horse races, but it's not excavated. The last event in the ancient time took place in this stadium 393 AD, and then 394 AD, everything closed. The stadium was used after the ancient time just once as Olympic Stadium. 2004, Athens Olympics.
This is where you get the cold stone.